At the beginning of their history, the monsters of their world have been plagued. Somehow there are some powerful adventurers who fight these monsters to protect the humanity from extinction. A powerful woman named Alexandria was a world adventurer rank 4, and there is a power beast-like creature named Silenus, and he is world adventurer rank 5. Eon was so amazed, but suddenly Tor scolded him from being embarrassed because he's a world adventurer rank 3. Eon was a Tor's personal assistant that dreaming that could be strong as them. After the battle, Alexandria and Silenus came for their needs towards Eon. Alexandria and Silenus were furious by being watched while fighting in an S+ dungeon. Suddenly Arian, the world adventurer rank 2, showed up saying that he doesn't feel that he's an S+ rank dungeon. While taking a break, Arian suggested a dungeon where he sensed an infernal Lord aura. There are 3 kings who are responsible for the creation of monsters and dungeons. Eon was lack of skill, so he's wondering what he can do, but Tor noticed him and he encouraged him that nothing will happen at him. Suddenly a large explosion happens behind them. The infernal monster showed up, protecting the treasure of the Mad Gate from the Seekers. Alexandria was getting ready to fight, but the floor collapsed. Eon was saved by Tor from that attack. He is so worried for Alexandria, but she's fine and started to attack the monster. Eon was happy for that. Tor suggested that they need much power to take that monster, so he needs to let go Eon. He's encouraging Eon that nothing will happen for him before letting him go. Unfortunately, when Eon landed, he broke his leg, and behind him there's an explosion about to happen, but he is so lucky that Silenus saved his life. Silenus throwed his truncheon under the infernal monster, destroying the area where it stands. Arian uses Death's grip to hold him from being kneeled down. Alexandria showed up, chopping off its arm. Tor charges his hammer to attack the infernal monster's head, leading them to defeat the monster. Eon was doubting that he's just a burden for the 4 horsemen. Suddenly a voice from nowhere came up, suggesting that to obtain the reward someone has to sacrifice their life. Without hesitation, they are suggesting that Eon can be their sacrifice because they are the 4 horsemen, that irreplaceable hero, but him is just a useless guy. Eon was so mad by this decision and venting his anger at them, but he got betrayed by Tor. They placed his body at the altar to start the sacrifice. Alexandria was about to start, but Eon fights back, making the sword flew towards Silenus' eye. He swore that someday they will get what they deserve, and they must be the one who must be the sacrifice. Due to Silenus' madness, he beat him down, leading to his death. In Afterlife, I saw a mysterious man sitting in a throne. He congratulates Eon for winning the game and greeted him at Madgate. Eon was so shocked because he never heard of Madgate. The Madgate only exists at the border of logic and madness. He noticed the voice that ordered the sacrificial to claim their reward. While talking, he felt something painful. The mysterious man keeps telling him that he won the game. It's a riddle of who deserves to die and be sacrificed from the altar will take the reward. The reward was to grant the power of the Madgate, which is his power. He is the infernal lord of insanity, the Mad King. Eon will be resurrected and will be the stronger than before. His power relies to insanity, and if he uses it too much, it might be led into madness. The Mad King asking if he choose to accept the gift to become strong or just embrace himself devoid of death. He remembered his past for being weak and useless, that dreaming become one of the strong people, but ended up betrayed by the 4 horsemen. Without any hesitation, he took the Mad King power, so if he returns, he will show what the 4 horsemen deserve from what they do from him whenever what happened. When took the agreement, a huge door opens up, pulling him up. Mad King was so excited what he can do by this power in his new life. The 4 horsemen was waiting for the reward, realized that they fooled to sacrifice someone for nothing. Tor cannot believe from what he did toward Eon. When they are about to leave, something happening to Eon's body. Eon was gifted by Mad King and will be reborn as level 1. He can't believe that the Mad King really resurrects him. When he woke up, he realized that he's lying on a pile of corpses. Suddenly a quest showed up, but he doesn't understand what's happening. Just a moment, an octopus-like creature showed up in front of him, but he is so scared and ready to fight this creature. This creature introduced himself as Kaorios, the Dream Eater. The Mad King sent Kaorios for being Eon's guide towards system of the Mad Gate. He will teach Eon to rise from being useless to the most powerful creature. The Mad King's gift was the system that bestowed to him. Before the Mad King gives all of his power, he must earn it first, and the system will be triggered to pass the Mad King power toward him. He will start from level 1 as soon as he gains experience points, and leveling up it makes him much stronger. Suddenly, 3 raiders came up toward Eon, but he ran away to save himself. Kaorios was confused why he ran and thinking that probably he's lying about being strong. Eon might be scared to die again, or there must be another reason, but Kaorios wants to show how to defeat these raiders. One of the raiders noticed something where Eon was hiding. He found and he is about to attack him, but suddenly Eon throws a doll which reminds him of his daughter who have died long ago from a raid. The doll talks to the raider and Eon turned around impersonating his daughter. Suddenly a zombie-like creature who killed before came up. He felt guilt from what he did before. While asking for forgiveness, Eon strikes his neck. He only just a hypnotism to make him vulnerable at his situation before executing him. Eon was hesitating to do this, but Kaorios making him think about how merciless the guy was before. This makes his hatred trigger to execute the raider. Eon came out from the house encountering the raiders' company. He uses his hypnotism to make illusion at their mind to make his enemy a lot more vulnerable. He already executes 3 raiders and there's 17 more lurking around the village. He noticed that every time he uses his ability it costs 1 madness. By using ability, it relates to Mad Gate costs madness. Since his sane person he starts at 0 and the more he uses it his madness bar increases until it leads to insanity. It means that every time he uses the Mad King's power the crazier he gets. But he's too curious if what will happen if he reaches the 100, but Kaorios wants him to discover on his own. He began to hunt again and there's a raider wanting to execute the survivor from the village, but Eon came up dragging the corpse of their comrade. They underestimate of what Eon can do, but Eon was taking the information of every raider's place and how many are they in his position. He was timid before because of willingness of become strong he felt nothing. He starts to use illusion magic from the other raider and started to lunge toward the raider's leader. They parried and the other raider started to rush him up, but he used his hypnotism spell to make the raider unable to move and executing them up. The raider's leader ordered to shoot him with a cannon, but unexpectedly Eon catches the cannon's shell with his hand and he throws it back towards the raider. Eon started to executing the raiders one by one and some of the raider goes to the survivor to make them as hostage. But Eon uses his illusion spell to make the raider to fall into their insanity. He attacks them while they so vulnerable. The raider's leader begging for his life, but Eon's doesn't to continue of what he's doing. Suddenly he felt something. This is because his madness bar goes 13 over 100, making him feel a little bit crazy. The raider takes this opportunity to stab him, but Eon blocks it with a powerful hand. The leader felt the guilt of what he deserves from an executioner. Without hesitant Eon executed him. He got 100x, making himself level up. The 4 horsemen came back to their village and have a conversation at the Emperor Heeson of Herodia. They talk about what happened to their expedition about the Mad Gate. The Emperor asks Tor about what he feel about their victory over the Mad Gate, but Tor replied it with unsatisfying. After this they dismissed. After the meeting, Hire rushed towards Tor because she hasn't seen Eon with him, but Tor replies him that he's dead and he couldn't protect him. Haya goes under a cliff where he could lend out her burden about Eon's lost. She's so mad that her valuable person for her died. Haya was a world adventurer rank 1 and she's about to avenge Eon's death. Everyone thanking Eon for helping them from the raid, and Eon know what it feels being helpless in their situation. Eon was moving forward to his adventure and everyone thanking him that making what hero a hero feels like. He's demanding to become a top adventurer to help other people and to avenge himself from the 4 horsemen. Time goes by, he starts to slaying goblins to focus, granting experience to raise his level. There are 5 attributes. These are intellect, strength, agility, stamina, and spirit. Eon put his points to increase his mental fortitude to help himself to descend his madness like he felt before. He keeps training and gaining X to get stronger, and a lot stronger so he could surpass someone who's powerful than him. Time to time he gets a lot stronger and he is so desperate to surpass the 4 horsemen to avenge his death. 1 month ago, he wants to clear a dungeon to be stronger and have a better gear, so he joins into Silver King's Guild to start his journey at Underwater Kingdom. He's with Falcon, the leader of the Silver King's Guild, Talia, the 2nd rank of the Silver Kings, and Wen, the 3rd rank of the Silver Kings. Suddenly a kid eating the guild leader's food, and this is Leo, a mercenary adventurer. Leo was too young, that remind him of Hyatt when they're young and hoping that he could be strong as her sooner. Suddenly a guy flew in front of him. This is caused by Leo. The captain started to sail and both of them got out of balance. Leo hit his face to the floor. When they're sailing, Eon felt a familiar aura across the ocean. The Mad King observing Eon from eternity, stating that he's about to approach someone and doesn't need to wait too long. While sailing, Leo tied up by his comrades because of his attitude. Leo asking to help him to cut down the rope, but it was against the rules, so Eon suggested another way to help him. He gives him water, but since Leo was upside down it ended up spilling everything. Leo was a farmer before he became an adventurer, but he's too young to start his expedition. He was dreaming of being stronger than Silenus from 4 horsemen. Eon told him that he'd meet Silenus before and he's too strong. Leo was so amazed from what he hears, but he didn't know what they did to Eon. The Watcher saw a maelstrom ahead them and everyone moves to prepare. This is Atlantis dungeon entrance to raging maelstrom. Their ship must dive inside the whirlpool to enter the dungeon. Eon was so worried about the durability of the ship, but they've planned in case this happened. Suddenly a tentacle appears behind. He's so off guard it ended up taking him towards the ocean, but he reacted in his situation and taking his sword, chopping off the tentacle. He uses Infuse to get away from the situation and Wen pulled him back to the ship. Eon thinks that it was just a big octopus, but Wen told him that it was a kraken. They are surprised because it must not guard a D-rank dungeon. One of their comrades got snatched by the kraken and they started to attack the tentacles of the kraken. Leo calling for Eon to cut the rope and suggesting that he can help at their situation. He cut the rope. On the other side, Wen was distracted from them, not noticing that there's a tentacle coming behind him. But Eon saved him from this tentacle, making him shocked of what he can do. He was about to help the other, but Kaorios suggesting that instead of saving them he must focus to kill the kraken, but he refused. Suddenly Mad King saying that some sacrifice is a must to save the other, because of this his madness bar increases to 30 over 100. Wen attacks the kraken that hold his comrade, but the kraken let go and their comrade was about to fall. Leo saves the guy while riding on a phoenix. Eon was surprised at Leo's ability. Just as sudden, behind them, one of their comrades got caught by the Kraken. But their captain was there to help his crew to be freed. He ordered to the crew to slay the Kraken. Eon wants to trust the Silver King so he can focus to fight the Kraken without any hassle. He calls for Wen to protect anyone while he is rushing toward the sea. He wants the one will end the Kraken's life. After jumping from the ship, Leo catches him to help him get closer from the Kraken. Kaorios suggested that he must blow the crystal from the Kraken's forehead. So, Eon told to Leo to bring him closer from one of its tentacles. Leo doubting to Eon because they just met for the first time. After thinking twice, he decided to trust him for what he's going to do. As Leo throws him at the tentacles, Eon thinking that his idea was crazy. Even though this is dangerous, he got no choice, and he must act and doing nothing from the ship in order to save everyone. He used the momentum from falling to slice one of its tentacles. Suddenly, the Kraken was about to attack from behind, but he reacted immediately. As he tried to hold on, another tentacle was about to approaching at him to attack. But still, he dodges it. Somehow Wen notices that the Kraken stops from attacking the ship. They assumed that it's only interested with Eon. He's having a hard time to get closer from the Kraken's forehead. Unfortunately, he got hit by the Kraken, making him to fall at the ocean. Everyone was so shocked from what happened, while the Mad King was getting excited from what about to happen. Eon loses his consciousness because of the Kraken's attack. While he's sinking deeper from the ocean, he woke up seeing a huge monster that doesn't look like a Kraken. He is so confusing what monster was this, and all of a sudden it used hallucinated Eon. He notices that the monster also using the power from the Mad Gate. As the monster going to reach him, he noticed someone behind him and he got pulled away from the monster. It was Leo riding on an underwater creature that he creates from his power. As they leaving, Eon can't believe from what the monster did along its power from the Mad Gate. They finally got back from the ship, and Leo can't also believe on what he saw. Eon notices the monster's aura. He assumed that the monster was belonged from the Mad King. The monster stops from attacking just a sudden, and it left when Eon fell from the ocean. Wen suggested that they must leave while they can, but Falcon insists to clear the dungeon to continue their mission. Leo was so mad, saying that if he could see how massive the monster was, and if the monster comes again, there's a possibility that their guild will go. Falcon ordered Talia to make a summary of the damage and the dead crew. He decided to clear the Atlantis for the next day means they have to continue. Because of this, Leo was so furious because there a possibility that the monster would come back at them. Wen was doubting, but Talia support the captain's decision. They shall move forward, and to those afraid would spend the night in the ocean. Eon was still thought about the monster from its relation from the Mad King, and Kaorios recognized this presence before from the Mad King's old acquaintance. Heya goes for Eon's last place that he goes along the 4 horsemen. She is so shocked when she saw a flower that Eon gave her a long time ago. Suddenly behind her, the Infernal Lord appearance showed up at her. On the other side, Heya gave back the flower that Eon gave to her a long time ago to protect her. She returned the flower and saying that she doesn't need any protection from him anymore, so she confronted him that she also doesn't need him anymore. Because of this, Eon was so heartbroken from what she said. Eon got furious being thrown away after what he sacrifices and treated him like nothing. He is so mad and tired of being disrespected for being weak and the betrayal of every person he trusts. Because of anger, Eon want to know them of what he feels, so he drawn his sword. Suddenly he woke up from his nightmare. His thoughts and memories are getting out of hand time to time. Just a moment, Kaorios showed up to report their present situation. A guy with sharp kunai showed up at his door. He throws the kunai at Eon, but he immediately reacted from his situation and he used the blanket to make an opening. Eon dashed toward him and manages to reach him up. Eon asked him what was his motive to kill him, but he blurted Eon and doesn't want to talk about the orders. Kaorios told to him that Leo was already caught by these bandits, so he changed his plan and used hallucinate to the bandit to lead him from where they take him. Meanwhile, the bandits are throwing coffins through the ocean. Leo woke up inside the coffin and he's wondering what's happening. He keeps banging out inside the coffin to be free, but it's so tight and he can't make any necessary movement. The bandits are talking about to Leo to let go after opposing Falcon, but they can't trust him from being mercenary. So they throw Leo at the ocean. Just a few hours, Eon showed up at them. He's so mad from being betrayed by their comrade after fighting together. It reminds of him being betrayed by the heroes. Because of this, he really wanted to kill these bandits after what they did. He used hallucinate at them to show a terrifying creature to tell where was Leo. On the other side, Leo was one of the thrown coffins at the ocean and he keeps sinking deeper from the ocean. Suddenly, while sinking, he feels the same aura of the monster that they fought earlier. He got confused from the monster after this monster didn't kill him. Meanwhile, at the ship, Eon hurries to fight and killing the bandits at the ship after realizing that Leo got thrown overboard. Eon rushes to dive deeper at the ocean to save Leo. As he swim, he saw the monster that they fought again, and it's holding a coffin at his hand. But Eon wants to prioritize to find Leo. Unfortunately, there are too many coffins sinking deeper at the ocean, and he got confused which of the coffin was Leo in. Kaorio suggested that he can sense Leo at the coffin that the monster held. Eon rushes toward the monster without any hesitation. Even Kaorio's trying to stop him because they don't want to mess with this monster. Eon wanted to save Leo because he doesn't want to waste Leo's dream from being the stronger than the hero. As he rushes the monster, it used Hallucinate skill against him. Eon ignores it and thinking that Hallucinate won't work for him. All of a sudden, a bunch of monster creatures showed up. He ignores this because he thought that this is just caused by Hallucinate that the monster made. Eon got entangled by these monsters, and he thinks that this monster overpowered him from his madness. So, he tries to calm himself to remove the hallucination spell at him, and it successfully worked. Unfortunate for Eon, he got hit by the monster. He sank deeper from the ocean at the same time. He can't breathe. Eon was losing hope, thinking that he is going to die, but Kaorio suggested him that he must go at the maelstrom immediately since the surface was too far. So, he leaves no choice. This is the only way if he wants to live. Because of his desire to live, he got motivated. He immediately used to infuse and swims immediately at the maelstrom. When he got inside the maelstrom, he wonders why there's an air and no current inside it. All of a sudden, a coffin passed through them while Leo was still inside. So, Eon rushed immediately to help him as soon as he can. As he about to reach the coffin, a bright light came through them, because this is the way to be teleported from the Atlantis. Meanwhile, at the ship, Wen was executing the traitors of the group. He asked where did Eon go, and one of the kids saying that he went overboard to save Leo. But it was 30 minutes ago, meaning there a possibility that the Kraken or the ocean killed them both. Because of this, Wen got so mad after dying too many comrades after the betrayal they did, so he punishes him up. On Eon's side, they've been ended up inside the dungeon, and this wasn't really the Atlantis that he thought. They falling from one of the buildings and landed inside of it. For some reason, the water was breathable inside the city, but it's still like a normal water. But he wants to figure this out later after saving Leo inside the coffin. Suddenly, someone opened that leads to their location. Leo was confused inside the coffin from Eon of taking so long to free him. He is clueless on what happening while Eon was hiding from the creature. A quest pops up in front of him saying that he has a quest that he must survive for 60 seconds against the One Eye with unknown reward. Eon was speechless after seeing the One Eye Aura because it is a level 20 nether monster. Kaorio's explained that the nether monster is a creature that draws its power from the infernal lord. He is thinking if he's supposed to fight the monster, but Kaorio's told him that he mustn't. He just needs to survive for 60 seconds from the One Eye. Even though it's an easy quest, he is concerned about Leo. He became rational for his decision if he needs to leave him alone or he must save him. After the betrayal that he experiences, he doesn't want to do it also on Leo, so he tries to save him. When he's about to save Leo, the monster has gone. A little flashback. Eon used to be coward since he's a kid. He keeps wondering how could he overcome his fear. But over the years he realized that even bravery doesn't eradicate it. But he figures it out that he must pretend that it isn't there. So, he finally understands that there's only one kind of a person that can truly be deemed fearless, and the only act as if fear doesn't exist was the insanity. The One Eye lunges at him and dodges the attack of it. Because of One Eye was so fast, it manages to scratch him at his face. He used to infuse at his foot to kick the One Eye, but it blocks by this monster. While the One Eye distracted, Eon used his sword. Unfortunate, it dodges even in weirdest position. He became off guard and the One Eye trips him up, making him a lot more vulnerable in his position. Luckily, Eon moves immediately to be freed from his position. Because of the water, his attack became slower, but he can maneuver much better. So, he decided to use this for his advantage using the infuse. Eon realizes that he'd been using his skill a lot, meaning his madness increased at its highest peak. Even though he increased his spirit, if he frequently using his ability, his madness won't go down. Only 45 seconds left and he's doubting if he can hold One Eye on his own. When he checks his madness, it was already peaked at 39 and he's curious what will possibly happen if he reaches 40. Eon was scared to deteriorating his own mind, but in exchange for power, and facing an enemy that far stronger than him. He's afraid, but he thinks that this is the way to overcome his fear. But he was thinking, what if he eliminates the fear entirely? The One Eye lunges at him while he's just standing. Because of insanity, he doesn't want to hold him on 45 seconds. The One Eye attacks him, but he blocks it. Eon's desire right now is in 45 seconds he is going to kill the One Eye. His insanity starts to raising and he attacked the One Eye. Eon used infuse to pin the One Eye and throwing it away. Because of insanity, he's starting to be a lot more crazier than before. He reaches his madness rate at 45%. Suddenly, Leo calls for him to be freed him inside the coffin. As he releases him, Leo is so curious how can they breathe at the water. Just a moment, the one eye standing up after taking Eon's attack, and this monster started to be maniacally attacking. Eons asks Leo if he's ready to kill this monster with a freaky look. They teamed up together to fight the one eye with full force. There is 25 more seconds left from his quest, and he ordered to Leo to follow his lead, but Leo rejects it because he wanted to do things on his own. After Leo summoned his truncheon, Eon realized that he is right about Leo being a summoner, but with limited beast only. The one eye reaches Eon, but he is so confident not to move an inch because of his state of insanity. He began to do things without thinking in order to defeat the monster. All of a sudden, he got an idea and he wanted to test Leo's truncheon. He demands to hit them both by Leo and all in his power. Leo notices his craziness, but he knows there's something about his actions. So, he plays along Eon's idea, and he started to join the fight. He swings his truncheon at them. A powerful beam came at them, making Eon and one eye flew away from the building. Eon knew that Leo was strong. He didn't expect that he exceeds his expectation. Kaorios advised him to be more careful because his health points are getting low. He also mentioned there are 10 more seconds left to finish the quest. Unexpectedly, the one eye lunges at him to attack, and he got shocked that the one eye still manages to move. Leo wanted to help him, but they are too far from him. Even though Eon is low health, he smiled, and he got stabbed by the one eye. But he smirks at him, and he still manages to land a powerful punch that make him flew away. After this, he finally finished his quest to survive within 60 seconds. Kaorios realizes why the Mad King chose him as his new champion. On the other side, someone reported that one eye was defeated. Arunos, the Mad Prince, was so shocked from this information. Along this, he can't believe that his father found a new champion. Eon levels up after defeating the one eye. Along with this, he receives a new ability, Infection, new item, Pure Gem, new system function, and inventory. He lost too much blood from the battle, but luckily he always have spare of potion and his health points back to normal. He goes for his inventory to check if there's something useful for his adventure. He saw a Pure Gem from the quest reward, so he checks it immediately. Pure Gem is a grade A. This crystal gem has magical properties, and if he crushes it, it will instantly remove all madness from the wielder. This gem was convenient at his current situation, but he decided to save it later since he can push his mind a little more further. His new skill is Infection, which allows him to transfer madness when from another host if they held him for 5 consecutive seconds, which is useful for him. But he is curious why it needs 10 madness to use it even if we'll transfer the madness. So, they are trying to figure it out the possible outcomes. Eon thought if he reaches the 95 madness, then it becomes impossible to transfer it to another host. The another one is if he transfers the madness to someone. He cares the additional 10 madness can make him someone crazy. Lastly, if he can't hold his host for 5 consecutive seconds to transfer the madness, it will drive himself more insane. So Kaorios suggested that if cast Infection, and if he didn't hold down his target, the cost will simply add 10 madness to himself. Means he must use this power precisely. While Leo checks the body of one eye, he calls him and asking if he trusts Eon. Leo trusted him a little bit, so he decides to tell him something. As they made contact to each other, Eon used Infection to try it out. His madness goes into 35 madness, and he feels his mind feel much clearer below 40 madness. He think that he transferred 10 madness to Leo, meaning he might handle it. Unexpectedly, Leo's madness got 41 and he wanted more of it. Thank you for watching. If you found this video interesting, don't forget to like, comment, and hit the subscribe button for more content like this. Stay awesome, goodbye.